What's up, DC Nation? We're back to another video, and guys, today we're covering Batman: The Last Night on Earth, Book 1. Now, this is Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo's final Batman run, or pretty much final story that they're writing about Batman. And pretty much just follows the story of Batman and Joker as they team up to go through a venture of the wastelands of the DC Universe after a big fallout of events. Now guys, if you end up liking this video, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you like the content that I'm dropping, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the big DC stories that are dropping every single day. So guys, enough this intro, let's dive into Batman: The Last Night on Earth. So guys, as we dive into the story, we first see this cover. And guys, this cover is dope, and it pretty much shows Batman, and he's in like a silhouette form. He's just all black, alright? It's like a shadow. And he's holding Joker. And in the story, guys, Joker is just like a head in a jar. And we see Batman going through the wastelands of the DC Universe. And guys, this is written by Scott Snyder, like masterclass writer. Like, he's done some great stuff. New 52 Batman, and he did like Dark Knight's Metal, the Justice League series, and he's about to do Dark Knight's Death Metal. Now, it's drawn by Greg Capullo, and he's probably one of the best artists. Actually, I would say the best artist to be paired up with Scott Snyder anytime. And the colors are by Jonathan Glapion and FCO Placenta. Alright guys, let's dive into the first page. Now, we got chapter 1, and it's actually part 1 of this book. This book is split up into 4 parts, and part 1 is called The Cave. Now, we start off and we have this narrator saying that we've had many adventures together, Batman and I. Now, we don't know who this narrator is. We find out by the end of the story, but this narrator is saying this is the strangest adventure yet. Now, we see pretty much this person in different panels putting down chalk in different parts of Gotham. And Batman's been on this case for like a whole year. He's been on this case for a while, and pretty much over a total of 363 days, someone has pretty much made like a chalk line 5 feet in like a 5 feet radius, and it's pretty much carved out a whole pretty much silhouette of Batman. And this is a dead Batman, and the heart of it is at the center of Gotham, or pretty much that place that Batman always dreads going to. It's Crime Valley. Now, if you remember, Crime Valley is the place that Batman's parents actually got shot. Now, his parents got shot there, and they made a vow to become the Batman, so it's probably the most important place he's ever been. Now, as Batman is approaching this place, because he thinks that the center, the person who's been doing this all, which is kind of a weird act, who spends every single morning of 363 days going to a certain part in Gotham, and every single day, 5 feet radius, just putting out a chalk line and having like a vision to make a silhouette of Batman, and the heart of it be at Crime Valley. Like, who takes that much time to plan this out and not do anything really wrong, but something just weird? Now, Batman's trying to figure out who this is and what is their plan. Now, he follows the signal, and Alfred is saying, don't worry, there's nobody at Crime Valley right now, because Batman isn't really trying to figure out who did it. He's trying to just investigate and figure out what is going on at first, because this is a weird case. Now, Alfred says there's no one there. Batman makes it there, and as he's walking, he's like, Alfred, someone is here. And he says, he gives Alfred the eyes, and Alfred's like, what is that? And Batman, we see this like image of Batman pretty much standing above like this little person. It's pretty much like, it's a kid, and this kid has like an umbrella. Now, Batman goes by, it's like, hello son, are you hurt? Young man. Batman's trying to figure this out. Batman lifts the umbrella up, and he's like, oh my god, what is this? And he sees a dead, pretty much kid who has like white eyes. This kid's diseased, he's done, and Batman, it's pretty horrific for Batman. Batman's like, what is going on? And as he's talking to this kid, he's like, he's telling Alfred, signal Jim Gordon, who is Commissioner Gordon. He's like, victim appears to be 10, maybe 11. And he's trying to figure out who would do this, who would kill a kid like this. And as he's doing this, you hear gears just going through, the gears of a gun. And as this gun approaches, Batman's talking, he's like, he's been posed by means of a prop, some kind of mechanical, like how this kid's probably been like killed by something. Now, we know it's pretty much a gun, but this person walks by, and Alfred's like, Bruce, move! And as this gun comes by, it then fires, and Batman then pretty much goes away, and he's in the darkness, like he got shot. We don't know what happened to him, but then he wakes up in this place that kind of looks like a hospital of sorts, or asylum. And Batman wakes up, and he hears this person saying, Bruce, wake up. And Batman does. And he's like, where am I? And we see this fly going around him. Now guys, a fly, okay, as little as it is, has been a big deal, and anything Scott Snyder writes about Batman. If you go back to Death of the Family, it ends, like the very last page of that Death of the Family story arc, you see Batman like trying to figure out the code of Joker, what he did, because Joker pretty much like kidnapped all the Bat family, pretty much made a ruse to Batman, like cut off their faces. Like Joker's pretty crazy, he cut off his own face back then. And you see in that storyline, at the end, Batman's looking at like this computer and all it says is, ha. That's it. That's all Joker was trying to convey. You see a fly at every part, like an end of a story. So this signals the end of Batman. Now, as we see this, it flies on him. It's like, Alfred, come in. Where are you? And then we see this person come above him. It's like, Bruce Wayne, my lord, you're right here. And it's finally over. And as we know, Batman's kind of freaked out about this. This guy looks like Joker. He really has a hospital-like suit on, and in his lapel is a purple flower. Now, Joker's used to having purple flowers in there because he uses to poison people with Joker toxin, kill them. Now, this guy has a weird smile too, so it pretty much is the Joker, but it's not. And as we go on, Batman's like, what have you done? Now, this doctor is like, relax, Bruce. And he talks to Bruce and he's like, don't worry about him. Bruce is like, this is a joke, you're trying to play something on me. He thinks it's a Joker. And this doctor pretty much says to him, no, in fact, this is the first time that you haven't been like caught in like a trap, you haven't been played like a joke. And he says like, you haven't been tricked. This is the first time in so many years. And he's like, just relax, there's so many people waiting out this door wanting to see you. You've been here for so long, and you're finally awake. And he's pretty much saying, I have been your doctor for 20 years, you've been pretty much insane at this place, and we've been treating you. He's like, I am Dr. Redmond Hood. Now, if you rearrange that, it's kind of Red Hood, which I noticed that, like, it doesn't spell, like, completely Red Hood, but if you think about Redmond Hood, like, that just gives me Red Hood vibes, alright? Like, thinking of Red Hood, and Joker killed Red Hood, like, just going into that, if you're just a big, long-time Batman fan, reading that is pretty huge. And guys, about Dr. Redmond Hood, actually way back, and actually not way back, but just the New 52 Batman run, when in like the halfway through, that doctor was introduced, and that doctor would help out Batman with cases, help out with certain things. He showed up once in a while. But in the Endgame arc, it was revealed that it was the Joker, and it freaked Batman out. Like, it was a big reveal. So you can't blame Batman for being freaked out here at seeing this guy. He's like, you're the Joker, what the heck are you gonna do to me? And then this doctor reveals that you've been here for 20 years in Arkham Asylum. And Bruce is like, no, let me out. Bruce is like, no, I'm not being in Arkham Asylum. This is worst nightmare ever. And the doctor's like, Bruce, please, this is the start of, and Bruce is like, don't touch me. And the doctor's like, there's so many people wanting to meet you, but there's one person out of all of them who's waiting right now, and I'm gonna let them in. And as this person walks in, Bruce is like, no, it can't be. And it turns out that's Alfred. And he's like, Bruce, is it really you? That's what Alfred says. And Alfred says to the doctor's like, Dr. Who, is this true? And this, like, I'm gonna call him Joker. Well, he's not Joker, okay, the doctor. Dr. Redmond Hood. He says the scans show full engagement. He's awake, Alfred. You can talk to him. And Bruce is like, well, please, Alfred, take me home. Bruce wants to go home. He's like, take me out of this Arkham Asylum. This is a crazy place. And Alfred's like, I will, my boy. I will. I promise I'll take you home. But for now, just remember, just know that you're forgiven. Know that we forgive you for all you've done. I'm just happy that you're awake and you finally realize what you've done. And Bruce is confused. He's like, forgive me for what? What did I do? And Alfred's like, yeah, sad voice. He's like, you don't remember. I'm sorry, Bruce, but you were the one that killed your parents in Crime Valley that night. And Bruce is shocked. He's like, no, that can't be. It can't be. And again, you see the fly. Guys, a fly. It opens his eyes wide. Like, it's a shocker moment for Bruce. And Alfred's like, stop it. You just can't stop being like this. Because Bruce pretty much says to him, Alfred, you're not real. Nothing's real. And Alfred's tired of this. It's been 20 years. And Alfred's like, no, I thought you're finally with us, but then you're still crazy. And Alfred's like, stop it. There's so many people wanting to help you, so many doctors, but you keep going insane. And then he opens up the blinds in the asylum bed, well, the bed blinds pretty much, and you see all these doctors. And they pretty much resemble Batman's rogues gallery, like Scarecrow, Harley Quinn, Solomon Grundy. And Batman's like, no, they're not helping me. But which one of you did this? And he's thinking that, like, which one of these people, or these doctors, or maybe in Joker, caused all this and put Alfred in this trap. And he says to Alfred that he's a scarecrow. Did Scarecrow do this? Is he inflicting fear on us? And Alfred's like, no, you keep putting up this whole act that Batman, that you're Batman. You keep going through dreams that Batman, you're taking down villains, but all you're doing is hurting the people that love you and trying to help you. And Bruce is like, no, this can't be. And then the doctor puts in like a needle, and Bruce goes right back to sleep. Because the doctor pretty much says like, okay, you've been asleep for a while, you're not used to the lights, so let's put you in a dark place. And we see Bruce next in like this dark room that is really like an asylum room. Like if you're stuck here for a while, like this is some freaking solitude, alright? And you see Bruce, he's there, it's like, come on, there has to be something on the wall. There has to be something that's like kind of like an error, a mistake in this whole dream. Because he thinks he's in like a dream or a nightmare. So he's like, I have to find the thing that's like an error so I can get out of here. And he thinks he's found it. He's like, oh, there's a hole in the wall. He starts digging out, and all he finds is a penny and a dinosaur. Like, imagine how disappointed you'd be if you're like, oh, this nightmare, and you find just some toys. Or like a penny and, a dinosaur toy. Like, you'd be pretty disappointed. And Bruce is like, no, this can't be. And he starts throwing stuff. He's like, I don't believe you. He's like, I'm not buying into this. He thinks he's speaking to a villain. Now we shift later on, a couple days later, and we see Bruce in another room with Alfred facing him. And Alfred says that like pretty much it's been days, and he's asking Bruce, have you finally realized all your stuff that you've done? Like, we'll forgive you, but you have to realize what you've done. And Bruce is like, no, I am Batman. I am not just Bruce Wayne. He's like, why do I speak Mandarin? Why do I speak like all these different languages? And Alfred's like, we had somebody teach you. We have this guy, Elliot, this librarian. And then he's like, and you thought was a villain of a ridiculous, name. Now, if you think about that, that's Hush, alright? That's Hush. That has to be Hush. And then we shift, and he's like, okay, how do I know how to fight? And Alfred's like, we had somebody teach you. You have to get this. We have people teach you how to fight. And he's like, you drowned that person out thinking you're, using self-defense, and you think that you drowned that person like a magical well. Like, Alfred thinks he's insane. And Bruce is like, no, I am not saying this is true. And Alfred's like, okay, I'm gonna try something. I'm gonna bring out something that the Dr. Redmond Hood, thinks is kind of destructive. It could mess with you a little bit. Bruce is like, what? What is it? Bring it out. Alfred's like, it's your cowl, the cowl you wear, and you're pretty much as Batman. And Bruce is like, thank you, Alfred, give it to me. And he takes it out, but this freaking cowl is on top, pretty much connected to like a Hannibal Lecter type asylum suit, and it says W on it. And Alfred's like, here is Batman. Pretty much, Batman's a crazy man. And we go on, and Bruce is like, you're telling me, and Alfred's like, yeah, that this is the jacket that they used for so many years. They put you on, and they use shock treatment to try to bring you back from insanity. And Bruce is like, the W, and Alfred's like, the Wayne Foundation. They pretty much funded this. So Bruce's own foundation funded this whole thing, and Bruce is like, I need to get out of here. I need to take the suit. Where's the suit? And Alfred's like, I don't have the suit. Just stop. Just finally realize you're just Bruce Wayne, not Batman. Bruce is like, sorry, Alfred, but I gotta go. So then he finally puts on that cowl and he leaves. And that's the end of part 1 of the story. So yeah, guys, we're a quarter of the way through. We got 3 more parts, but I'm pretty sure that you're interested, right? I'm pretty sure that you like this story so far, because it's pretty fascinating and it's leaving a lot of questions. I'm asking a lot of questions already. What's with all these villains as doctors? What is Alfred doing? Is he actually buying into this? Is Bruce actually a nightmare? And actually, what is with what happened at the beginning as he was going after this case, and then all of a sudden he's in Arkham Asylum? It's pretty crazy, guys. But it's time to head into part 2. Now, part 2, we got the right hand. Now, as we go in, we see pretty much Bruce. He has the cowl on. He has that pretty much asylum suit on, and the belts are pretty much like a cape for him. He's going through different floors. It says in less than 5 minutes he made it to the 3rd floor. Now he's taking out all these doctors that I think are villains. He takes down Bullock. He comes across Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon's like, you remember me, son? We used to have talks on top of the rooftop. And that's what Commissioner Gordon and Batman always do. But still, Batman's like, no, I'm not buying into this. And he finally makes it to the final floor where there's nowhere left to go. And then we see Alfred with pretty much Dr. Redmond Hood, all these different doctors behind him that are pretty much the rogues gallery of Batman. And Alfred's like, stop this, Bruce, please stop. And Batman's like, never. I figured out your secret, Alfred. Why'd you do it? And Alfred's like, just calm down, I'm begging you. And Batman's pretty much like, why did you keep me here for so long? And Alfred's like, okay, he tells the doctors to leave us. I need to speak with him in private. And they finally speak, like man to man. And we see Alfred say, he's like, there's nothing left out there, Bruce. All of the DC universe, it's a wasteland, everything's gone wrong. And Batman's like, well, what do you mean? He's actually like, what? It's all gone? Alfred's like, yes, no more friends, no more Gotham, no more heroes. And Batman's like, I failed. How did I fail? And Alfred's like, please, Bruce, don't you see? This is a better thing. This is look at it like pretty much a half glass full instead of like a half glass of water like empty. That's what he's like. He's like, look on the bright side of things, not like pretty much the negative side of things. And he tells, this is actually your time to be free. You don't have to deal with Gotham. You don't have to deal with being a hero. You can be Bruce Wayne. You can be free for once. You can have a regular life. And Alfred tells him, for this past like many years, 20 years, I've been playing like pretty much like not a VR, but another reality that he could spend in where he's just Bruce Wayne at the manor. He could go around, live a normal life. And he's like, Bruce, you woke up 2 years early, so it's not fully finished, but if you still want it, you could go into it. And Bruce is like, Alfred, you know I can't do that. And then Bruce takes his hand. He grabs Alfred's hand and he touches Alfred's face. And Alfred's face, pretty much, he had like a hologram showing him younger, but actually Alfred is an old man. It's been so many years, and Batman's like, I knew it. And Alfred's like, you could tell because when you touched my hand, you pretty much felt my heartbeat. It was slower. And as he talks, Alfred's like, I'm sorry. And Batman's like, it's good to see you, old friend. Like, Batman's like, actually kind of relieved. He's like, this isn't a nightmare. This is actually Alfred. And Alfred's like, he's kind of happy to see him. He pretty much wipes a tear off, pretty much away. And he talks to Alfred's like, come on, you can stay here. Just stay. Live a normal life. Batman's like, no, I can't. And Bruce is like, come with me, Alfred. You come with me on this adventure. Figure out what's out there. And Alfred's like, no, I can't. I can't go out there. Because I can't deal with everything that's going on. Like, I've already seen this once. I can't deal with it again. I'll stay here. And Bruce is like, please, you have to come. Like, come on, come with me. And Alfred's like, no, just take something. Take the pens and just remember me. And Bruce tells him that, like, wait, but I have one question. Why do I feel so strong? You're old. Everybody else is old. But I'm strong and I feel like young. And I was like, before I tell you, it's gonna really like change things. You'll be shocked. But before I tell you, please give me something that I want. And Bruce is like, anything. And then Alfred's like, let me hug my boy. And they pretty much, as father and son, hug each other. Like, Alfred and Bruce's relationship are one of the strongest relationships in the entire DC universe. Like, it's pretty much a father and son, because way back when Bruce's parents died, Alfred was the one that saved the day, pretty much took care of him and helped him become Batman. So what Alfred reveals to him is that actually this Bruce is a clone of the regular Bruce. The old Batman, he's gone. He's either dead or disappeared, and Alfred cloned this. Well, he ain't cloned, but this Bruce got cloned, and Alfred found this Bruce and is pretty much raising him again, trying to save Bruce like a father would do. But guys, we shift Bruce pretty much taking his hand out into the wasteland. He gets up and he sees like this dead wasteland. He's pretty much out of this dream. He's into the real world. And we see him walking, and then in the far distance, we see his pretty much lantern, alright? This lamp. And he goes by, and he grabs it, and he sees it's the Joker's head. A head in a jar. And Joker wakes up. He's like, who's there? Who's there? He's all like, what's going on? And he's like, oh, you're here, Batman. You're here. We can finally, you came back to save me. This is great. He's like, I was starting to think that I was just alone. He's like, I've been trying to just practice my jokes for 10 years. And he tries to like practice a joke on Batman, but it falls really flat. Joke's like, sorry, but pretty much speaking to nobody for 10 years, your stand-up comes a little weak. But Joey's like, can you take me with you on your adventure? And Bat's like, no. And Joey's like, I know something. I know about the Speed Force storms. And guys, these Speed Force storms, they're very dangerous, but they're revealed and pretty much explained more in issue number 2. That we'll get to after this issue, or book number 2. And guys, Bat's like, okay, sure, you know some stuff. You can join along. And Joker's like, yes, finally, it's Joker and Batman. Batman Nugget. And Joker just starts laughing as they go through the wasteland. And guys, as we continue, this is going into part 3, the Asylum. Now guys, that was pretty much part 2. More questions. Batman finally got out of that asylum and he's met the Joker, so now we're getting to the really good stuff. So, let's get to it. So diving into part 3, it's the Asylum. And it's pretty much, it's 2 days journey to Coast City. They make it Coast City, guys. And we see pretty much Mogo in the sky. It's drained of all life force. We see the lantern pretty much giving energy to Mogo. It's on the ground, it's destroyed. Pretty much they arrive in this place at Coast City, which was like a battle that was lost. that we don't know what this battle was like pretty much for, like what the war was. Well, this is pretty much like a ruins of a battle. And it's said that pretty much Brainiac sucked out the life force out of Oa during this whole chaos. And Batman's talking to Joker, and Joker's like, man, it's hot around. It's pretty warm. Like, it's a pretty warm place. It's a lot of destruction. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes some babies. Like, there's some construct babies made out of like Green Lantern constructs. Pretty crazy stuff. These things go to pretty much attack Batman, and Batman's just going all over the place, trying to fight them off, but it's pretty hard. And he tells them that pretty much there's different people who have these Green Lantern rings, but when Oa pretty much lost his energy, they lost their willpower. So these constructs, the Green Lantern rings, they're going crazy because they have no one to pretty much control it. So these people are pretty much just lazy. They're all no willpower. They're being dragged by these like construct babies, and they're going after Batman. And Batman's just dodging everything. And then he pretty much hits different people. Uses Joker's like jar as like a hit thing to hit different people to stop like the constructs from building anymore. But then Batman gets stomped by a big baby foot, and Joker's like, okay, where's the master plan? You have a master plan, right? This is when everything comes together. And Batman's like, no, let me think about it. And as they're about to like pretty much get destroyed, these babies get pretty much stabbed, alright? Stabbed by an unknown force. And this unknown force is actually like a van. And coming out of the van is Vixen. Now Vixen's like, get in quick before these like pretty much these Green Lantern constructs come back. So he gets in, and Vixen talks to him. And actually, before that, we actually find out in this van that Poison Ivy, yes, Poison Ivy is driving the van. Vixen's in the back with Batman and Joker, and she's like, why are you doing this? Why do you have the Batman suit on? He's gone. He's dead. And Joker's like, oh, you're gonna reveal to them, right? That you're the real Batman? Like, Joker thinks this is all a game. Like, he's just laughing about it. And Vixen's like, oh my gosh, Pamela, it's true. This is Batman. And Pamela, guys, that's Poison Ivy's real name. But she says, is this actually Batman? Batman, you're actually alive? And Poison Ivy refuses to pretty much believe this and hits Batman with a branch, knocking him out. Now, we go into part 4. Now, part 3 is pretty quick, so instead of doing like a transition, we're gonna jump right into part 4. Now, guys, part 4 is called echolocation. I was about to say echolocation, and pretty much they're in like this place. And guys, this is the final part of the story. And we see Bruce, he wakes up still in like that asylum suit, but now with the Batman cowl. And we see him pretty much in these like tight chains things that are made like diamonds and stuff. And we see these Amazons talking to them. Who are you? Tell us who you are. And this is Supergirl, Poison Ivy, Donna Troy, Vixen. And then somebody out of the shadows comes like, Amazon, stop. Give me a chance to talk to Batman. And this is a warrior woman with pretty much the helmet of Dr. Fate. Now, we're thinking Dr. Fate, that's pretty huge, right? But Batman's like, oh, are you the new Dr. Fate? But this person says, no, magic is gone in this world. It's been rid of. And Dr. Fate is gone too. This is just a helmet. Now, this person takes off their helmet, and it's Wonder Woman. And guys, Wonder Woman has like a mohawk and stuff. She looks like very warrior. Like, she's been on her own, pretty much survival mode. And she's like, why are you here, Bruce? And Bruce's like, thank God, please, Diana, tell me what's going on. And she strips him of his chains, and they start like walking around, and she's explaining what's been going on in the past many years, like past 20 years, all these battles, all these wars. He starts off by telling Bruce the place they're in is Gem World. And guys, Gem World is pretty much a place that it's blocked off, it's underground, it's just like, we're safe here, it's blocking off all the villains. And Bruce is like, Diana, I don't understand what happened here. Diana, or Wonder Woman's like, we lost a great battle. And he's like, we lost, why? She's like, doesn't matter. And he's like, doesn't matter, what do you mean? And Wonder Woman's like, all that matters is that we keep all these survivors, all these people left, safe. She's like, all these people in the underground, we're planning to pretty much transport these people to pretty much Hades. She's gonna take these people to Hades. Like, the world's so bad that she's gonna take these people to Hades in the darkness, where there's maybe some light, but it's pretty bad down there, but better than up here. But she tells him, and Bruce is like, what happened and what's going on? And she's like, pretty much, the Hall of Justice, they see like this Hall of Justice like sign, it's like broken, it's in ruins, and she's like, we failed them. And Bruce's like, you failed who? And she's like, all the people out there, all the people that stood for the Justice League, wanted them to pretty much thrive. We failed them. We didn't stand by them when they needed us to. And Batman's like, what happened to the Hall? He's like, we used to have people come in here, pretty much watch, pretty much forget about the world. It's like a sanctuary and see their heroes. And Warren's like, oh, you think that, huh? Well, do you remember that they actually killed a bunch of people because they were pretty much guided by doom? And Bruce's like, what do you mean? And Wonder Woman's like, you weren't there, were you, when it all went down? And Bruce is like, tell me what's actually going on. What happened? What did the villains do this time? And guys, we see this big double page splash page, which is pretty awesome. You see these images of Lex Luthor, you see the Hall of Justice, you see like this person holding like the head of Darkseid. I thought that's pretty crazy. And then you see Wonder Woman and Alfred. But Wonder Woman pretty much explains that what happened here was that pretty much Lex Luthor and Superman, they held off the thing asking the world what they want, justice or doom. Now this kind of relates to what happened in Scott Snyder's Justice League. But this is kind of like what happened if it went worse and went to Doom's side. And Lex Luthor, everybody chose Doom. They went to the dark side in a way. And when Batman, all the heroes, like pretty much Solitude and Hall of Justice, they couldn't come out because they went out, all these people were waiting for them, ready to like kill them and take them down because they wanted to team up with the villains. Now, when Batman, Green Arrow, and pretty much Black Canary went out to finally say, hey, you can be let in, just don't be villains, they actually killed them. Like Batman, one of them thinks that Batman died that way. And what we see is that actually what happened was they got in, they killed a bunch of people, then these civilians went against the villains too. So Lex Luthor got betrayed by the people he was actually trying to influence. So all this went into like a war, all these people were dying because they were going against it. It was like justice versus doom. And after all that, what happened was somebody took this time to seize the moment. They took this time of all this chaos to take control. And this person's name is Omega. Now guys, this person Omega, what he is pretty much is he's kind of like a Batman. Now you don't know if he's Batman, but he has like pretty much the strategies of Batman. He planned all this out, and he had Darkseid's, hey, kill a bunch of people. He went through established order and pretty much took over, and anybody who went against him, he would kill. He would kill these people. And that's when Wonder Woman showed up, took all the survivors against this war, because they lost. They tried fighting back against Omega, but they lost against him. He was too strong. As we see Wonder Woman then and with Alfred to retrieve something, and Omega had with him pretty much a duplicate of himself, like not a duplicate, but Bruce Wayne. Now this Bruce Wayne or Batman would pretty much be his heir. So when Omega died, this Batman would take up his place. But Wonder Woman and Alfred pretty much stole this Batman, and this is the Batman that we see here with her, because Alfred wanted him. And Batman's like, why would you take me and give me an Alfred if you didn't want me to help out and save the world? Wonder Woman's like, you don't need to save the world. The only reason I did that to help out Alfred, because I really I want him to feel better. I want him to pretty much die of pretty much sadness. And we see Batman, Batman's like, we have to do something, Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman's like, we can't. We've already lost. And she's like, Omega will kill us. We're leaving tomorrow to Hades. If you want to come with, which I really hope you do, please come with, but don't try and interfere with this. And Batman's like, please, we have to do something. Like, Batman's like, we can't just leave all these people to die. We can't have Omega just take over. We always win. And Wonder Woman's like, no. We can't save a world that doesn't want to be saving. Now that's pretty huge, guys. A world that doesn't want to be saving. Now, we then shift and we see all these people. Wonder Woman walks away and she's like, okay, prepare for tomorrow. Here's your suit. You come with us to Hades. Now this kid comes by him, this little kid, and he's like, my brother's been telling me that the place that we're going, Hades, like the underworld, is pretty dark. But you're Batman. You're the real Batman, so you see in the dark like a bat. Can you tell us how to see through the dark? And Batman's like, that's not how it works. It's actually through echolocation. And you see her pretty much yell and pretty much make echoes with this kid. Have like a nice moment, which is actually a pretty interesting image. Like you think it would be like corny and like, oh, it's kind of offbeat of what's going on. Like it's dark and it's a nice scene, but I really like it. It like lightens the tone for the final pages. Now as we go on, Joker wakes up. He's trying to remember like a joke, like that he wanted to tell Batman, but keeps repeating it wrong. He's like, "Where are we going, Batman?" Batman's like, "It's time to leave." And then Wonder Woman wakes up and finds that the suit is gone and Batman's gone. And Wonder Woman's like, "Okay, Bruce, goodbye. Please stay safe." And Wonder Woman walks away, knowing that her friend is out there in the wasteland going against Omega. We see Batman pretty much walking through the wasteland, and we find out that the narrator is actually Joker. He says that we finally start off on our journey, our final journey, Batman and I, the greatest journey ever. Now, this shows Batman, he's in his suit, he's pretty much his new 52 suit that was so awesome, and you see Joker, pretty much the head in the jar Joker, in his arm piece, holding it, and he's going through the wasteland. And guys, that's how the issue ends. It's a pretty dope issue, it's very fascinating, it leaves a lot of questions, like who's Omega, what's going on with this world, who's left, who survived, is Nightwing left, and actually guys, speaking of Nightwing and all these other like the Robins, Wonder Woman actually says that she thinks that Omega is actually one of Bruce's like disciples, or one of like the Robins, maybe Batgirl, which not most likely not, but maybe Nightwing, maybe Damian Wayne, maybe Tim Drake, maybe Red Hood. She doesn't know, but she pretty much is guessing that's them. So that's pretty much a big clue from what's to come in the next issues. But guys, awesome issue, pretty dope. But with the explain part of this video out of the way, let's get to my review of Batman: The Last Knight on Earth. Number 1. Yeah guys, as you already know, this video is longer than usual because that's a long book. That's 60 pages. Usually I just like explain maybe 20 or 30 pages at a time. That's a 60-page book, but it's a very fascinating book. It's split into 4 parts. The first part, like Batman Asylum. Second part, you see Batman meet like pretty much Joker and get out of Asylum. Then they go in the third part to go fly out the babies, get saved by the Amazons. Fourth part, we see pretty much him with the Amazons. It's revealed that Wonder Woman's alive. She explains everything that's happened, and Batman and Joker set off to fight off Omega. So this is pretty much like an all set up issue, and it's a lot of questions. But what really drives this, Greg Capullo's art. Like, man, guys, Greg Capullo's art is great. Like, seeing how he draws Alfred right there is awesome. Also, like, that big double page splash page is awesome. Looks so good. Joker is hilarious. Like, guys, the reason I talk about his jokes in the explain parts is I can't really explain the jokes in a way that's going to be as funny, like, unless I get like a Joker impersonation. But guys, the Joker really elevates the tone, makes it a little light with all these like dark revelations. But seeing Batman go through this and still not lose hope and still be on the drive to like fight off Omega, it's just really cool, and it's really Batman. Like, that's Batman's character. But guys, I'm looking forward to explain more of this issue as we go along. Issue number 2 is really good, guys. We start to see more of like Omega's forces. We see what happens to Alfred, and we start to see more of this like world develop. Like, guys, this is the final story of Batman that Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo wanted to tell. So they're going to tell it in epic fashion. And so far, this issue starts it off on an amazing start. And that's why I'm going to give this issue a 9.55 out of 10. One of the best Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo stories of all time. It's one of my favorite guys. Like, I love New 52, Dark Knight Metal, awesome. But this issue, when it came out and I read it, right off the bat, I was like, this would be one of the best stories ever, if not their best. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the video, the explain part and the review out of the way. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, I really enjoyed it. But guys, if you like the video, give a big thumbs up. And if you like the content that I'm dropping, and if you want to see the next part of this Batman Last Knight on Earth series, like probably like tomorrow, actually yeah, tomorrow guys, number 2 will be out, or book 2, me explaining and reviewing it, and then the day after, book 3, so I'm pretty much doing it each day. So if you want to keep up with these videos and keep up with like the story, then hit subscribe and the notification bell so you can keep up with an awesome story by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. Alright guys, that's the video, and peace out.